Alright, let's try to do a live one of these, eh? So up against an Icelander. I was about to say, don't know if they're going to be Bull or Arcane off of the bat, but obviously it looks like it's going to be Bull. They're swinging in with Go again here. Usually means they've got to follow up, otherwise I would have picked 7. Happy to just block with my whole hand here. It's just blues anyway, not really looking to stack any of these. Oh, looks like they had a decent turn 1. But I will be happy to stack blue Aether Flares. Very underrated card for your stack. Plus I just want to dig through my deck. Probably going to banish anything I see. Decisions on if we want to shoot this here. I believe we do, since we have nothing in our stack right now. Pretty interesting line already off the bat. So I do have the choice to just Kano again, so my stack goes to 6. But I am just going to shoot the lessons, I think. Especially since I have Crucible, so I can get it over the AB3, if they did decide to give me that. So yeah, we're going to shoot the lessons. Depending on what they let us grab is what I'm going to stack. I'm thinking I'll just grab the Aether Wildfire and then put it into stack ASAP. It's a very interesting line. This is not a very common line. See how the opponent wants to respond. Just another big upside to having Crucible. For the people wondering as well, I am not running sinks. I've just got other cards in the deck now that I can fill in instead of running the sinks. I used to be a big fan of running sinks, but not so much anymore. So it was a cold snap. We can take the arsenal from them, so that's actually going to gain us health because they're not going to be able to shoot us with Waning Moon in our next turn, as well as not disrupt us. So that's perfect. They did AB3 though, so we can't grab a Wildfire, but I will just go grab a Blazing, I think. Just grabbing a Blazing, I'm going to add that to the stack. So that's on top. Our count is still at 5, and then it's going to be blue. So 5, we drop to 9. Pretty interesting here. I think I'm just going to shoot that Spindle. Really relying on it opting into red cards is the problem, but I do want to just be able to present some amount of damage here, I believe, especially while I have the chance to. So it would also help me stack my cards a little better. The other option is just Kano in here, but counts at 9. Yeah, I'm down to just shoot. So go like this. Since they have no arsenal, no frostbites. This is also going to accelerate our stack, but yeah, just going to bottom any of the relevant red cards as an upside. The real big upside is that we're possibly going to take a card. Yeah, of course you can undo. So expecting an AB3, some players, if they AB4, if their hand is useless, happy to see that. So perfect, we get rewarded for our decision here. We get to leak, take a card, and we get to stack a Wildfire anyway. So just going to put that into the stack so the count will go to 10. Always counting all of the ops into the deck count. So it's at 10. We're going to leave the blue on top because we don't want it in the middle of the Blazing. And then we're just going to pass. So now our stack is blue, Wildfire, Blazing, and then a blue. And then counts at 10, that's now at 14. So this is a major point I wanted to point out here, and why I'm doing this video at the start, or like why I'm doing this video at all, is because when I reach this point in my stack, like I'm done. I'm finished with my stack. So blue, Wildfire, Flare, not Flare, Blazing. As long as I arsenal like another Blazing in my arsenal, or a Lessons or a red Flare, it doesn't really matter what you Kano into in the middle, which was that blue Aether Quickening. It should just kill. So with that said, wait, why is this flipped upside down? That's very interesting. Yeah, so with that said though, just going to be looking to accelerate to my stack as fast as possible now. So with that being said, I'm just going to double block this though. pretty interesting. I do think this is one of the situations where Kanoing isn't that bad. We would take a lot of damage though, since they've got 2 counters, and if that's a blue Amarettus, we'll take a big chunk, so I'm not going to risk that, but happy to just go to ours. So the count was at 10 after the op, then we draw up to 14. Up to 14, so we're already a quarter of the way there. And then here I'm just going to underpitch. Even a channel lake shouldn't matter. Actually, no, we should just take that back. Just play your action first, don't be like me. So play the E-pot because we can respond with the Kano activation afterwards anyway. No matter what I find, oh, gaze is a good one. So I'll banish the gaze and just play it. Probably just going to look to opt anything. So remember, the gaze opt is going to count towards a count. So not only did we Kano into it, putting it to 15, I'm also going to bottom both of these cards because they're really good to bottom. So 15, 16, 17, and then I'm just going to pass. So it's still 2 floating, so we can't be abused here. And yeah, so perfect. Draw another 4. So it was at 15, 16, 17, draw another 4, we go to 21. They did fuse this with an Insidious Chill. So this is their action for the turn, so I actually might just pitch this here, because that's the only card they can take. And this way I have 2 floating to block the Waning Moon if they try to do that. They do get the card, but now it's not delaying my stack, and yeah, I've got 2 floating for any Waning Moon shenanigans that they try to do this turn. So very good for us. Another reason why Crucible's better. But yeah, this game's looking very good. Just keep reminding myself of my deck count. So deck count was at, you shooting me or you? So he's shooting me even though I've got 2 floating, which is definitely a mistake. He should actually shoot himself here and then AB it, because he's going to be having leftover cards anyway. So I'll just take my free Illuvian counter, say thanks. But yeah, got to remind ourselves of the deck count. So we're at 17 after the bottom from Gaze, then we draw up to 21. Nothing's changed since then. So now we're just going to shoot the Nourishing. We're going to have 1 floating for the Oasis. If they do want to respond, give us a Frostbite in response. It's fine. So this means that they're going to be coming in with a Waning Moon after that. So we're going to AB that, get our second counter. So very happy for this. Interesting part, they should still have an Insidious Chill in their hand right now. So I'm assuming that's what they're going to be playing on their turn. But yeah, AB, only taking 2. Nourishing coming in for 6. Opponent's down to 27 already, and then I'm going to Arsenal this Oasis. And now we're pretty safe from anything. So drawing 5, so it's an extra 1 to the count. So that puts us at 26. That's an extra 5, sorry, what the fuck am I saying? So 21 plus 5, 26. Here there's a Channel Lake, so, but luckily it's just a yellow, so I can just AB4 this. AB4, I believe my stack is just 2 blues after the lessons, so pitching here isn't too bad. Doesn't look like they're going to Waning Moon us afterwards. So yeah, happy to just AB4 and use my action on the E-pot. And then we can stack those. Usually I would consider playing the tome, but since we've just got a potion, they take priority over anything, playing these out in the first cycle. Tomes are very valuable because they can just, if you play them during your first cycle, you can get +5 on your count, which is whole turn cycle. And yeah, if you get into your stack a whole turn cycle earlier, that's literally 12 damage. Like theoretically 12 damage is being prevented if you play a tome. But yeah, with that said, just going to play the E-pot, pitching this Eye. Another card that's very good in pitch stacking matchups. So Eye, just being able to bottom all the cards from the opt. I say that, but I'm considering keeping this Oasis on the top. Do I really want to draw into a second Oasis though? Probably not, so I think I'm healthy enough that I don't care. The count was still at 26, we didn't do anything crazy, right? Yep, so this will put it to 28. 28, we'll let this resolve. Opponent frost hexes here. So we do have the option to just Kano here. Kind of weird, because if they pitch for the waning moon, I'm going to hope that I didn't Kano. But I'm considering if I don't mind taking 2 damage, plus 1 from the thing, so it'll be 3 down to 24 for an extra card. Not too sure how much I value my life that much. Considering they still have a channel lake though, maybe I should consider keeping my life total up. Bit of a tricky one here, but that's alright. So count's still at 28. Just going to let the E-pot resolve, and then I'm going to pass here. Oh, this is definitely a mistake. Aha, no it wasn't. I thought he was just going to pass. So we got him here. Perfect. Kept the blue in hand. So we get the AB, take our 4th counter. Super happy with that one. Yeah, pretty risky there. If the opponent just said, just tried the pass there, we're kind of in a very bad position. Well, not bad at all. It's just me being harsh, but I don't like IPing one myself and then wasting all the progress that we made with our other cards to be able to ramp towards our stack that little bit faster. So yeah, so that worked out pretty well. Looks like they're not going to be able to keep the channel lake an extra turn, which is good for us. Here I do just want to play this potion, so I'm considering just pitching this flare. That way I'm able to Kano and keep some floating in my next turn to protect my life total. With that said, we're at 28 and then we drew 4, so we're at 32. Here, just going to play out my action point first. So 32, 2 blues, wildfire, into blazing, into blue, into flare, flare, lesson. And then here, we'll just use this. Use the Alluvian to eat this frostbite. It's especially important due to the frost hex on the board. So we'll eat that. We'll let this come in. We'll just AB2 as well. And I am going to Kano. I don't mind trading 2 life for +1 on the deck count, especially when we're at 32. We're over halfway there. There's no way they can disrupt if we hit something like a tome. They can waning moon in response, but like if they give us a frostbite somehow, I don't know how. It's probably impossible for them. But yeah, blah blah blah. So your reverberate, just going to banish it and then pass. They're going to waning moon. We'll take our 2 damage and take our Alluvian counter. I know we already got our Alluvian this turn, but that's alright. Trade 2 life for 1 on the deck count, just because our life total is so high and we're already halfway to our stack anyway. So count should be at 33 after that turn. Here we've got another E-pot. 33 plus 4 is 37 now. Interesting part, I'm considering blocking with this wildfire, which I probably should because I want the second blazing in my stack rather than the second wildfire, since the Icelander is able to utilize our wildfires against us. So just going to block like this, taking 1, and I'm just going to play the pot and then Crucible. So as you can see, the opponent is just starved on Alluvian counters, so like their damage output is just heavily restrained just on that small thing alone, whereas if this was Waning Moon, I would be giving them the Alluvian counters throughout each of these turns. And yeah, so just pass back. No Kano activation on that turn, so we're at 33 plus 4, 37, and then plus another 4, we're at 41, so 2/3 of the way there. Really on track to get there fast. Still a super healthy life total with an Oasis in the arsenal. And yeah, as you can see, one of the big things that I'm a advocate for, or like I try to tell everyone, is Icelanders are not good on 5-card hands. This is another reason why we should just not be playing cards into them. 5 cards and they're sending an attack for 7 at us. So very, very major thing that a lot of people overlook. They don't understand that the Icelander wants to give us cards to block, like most turn cycles. This is like just a big reason why you shouldn't be playing tempo into them. You're literally playing into what they want. So if we just take that decision away, force them to play a 5-card 7 at us, happy to just block, and then we're still going to ramp towards our stack. So big turn from us, big turn. Pitching away an 8th Ice Vein. They're obviously doing that because they know we have an Oasis in the arsenal. So with that said, I was at 41. I'm just going to play this, have 2 floating. 41, this is going to go up to 43. So no responses. I do want to arsenal this one, but it's not super needed, I don't believe. But it was at 41, so we went up to 43. Now I'm going to Kano here. So 43, this goes to 44. I think I am going to activate Crucible and then sap them here. So I'm just trying to bait out resources from the opponent to let them play their arsenal and then maybe Waning Moon us. But it looks like they just pitch a Wounded Bull, so I am going to just play this Oasis Respite so I can set up my stack. Yeah, it's a big wasting of Oasis. We had many targets that we could have done before, but we're still gaining one, so it's fine. Go up to 24. Just pass to them. Doesn't look like they can punish. So yep, that's a big reason why it's good. Other reason is because I do want the second Blazing in my arsenal for combo. And we get insta punished. Okay, that's alright though. So just remembering what I was at for my stack, I believe it was 44. Drawing up another 4 goes to 48. 48. Since this is my second Deja Vu part, I don't mind like getting rid of this. So a big thing is I might just go give them both my blues and then I'm going to attack with the Wildfire. Thing with that is they'll go to the second Alluvian counter that turn, so I'll instantly get attacked back. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to I want to give him my 2 bad cards here. Maybe I AB3 and just discard the Wildfire, and then I can play a Kano with keeping a card floating. So yeah, I think that's the best play. Just going to AB3 with the potion and then discard this Wildfire. So we're at 44 and then this is 48. Yeah, just going to AB2 this as well. Doesn't matter how we stack it. So 48, another reason why Crucible's good. Just going to pitch this extra blue to just have 2 floating and then pass back. Make sure I don't IP myself. And yeah, we lose 1 life here, but if the opponent just played nothing and we had Waning Moon here, we just get IP'd, which I believe is worse. Especially if it costs you a whole turn cycle, that 1 extra card, which it often can. So just AB2 here. Sucks that I definitely should have just popped my Alluvian before the Frostbite, but it's whatever. I think we're just so far ahead in this game that nothing that we do matters anymore. So now they're coming in with a Wounded Bull. So that Ice Bolt was stuck in their arsenal for a while there. Do note they didn't Crucible, or they didn't Waning Moon afterwards, because we're not shooting them for the Alluvian counters and it's just too expensive. But now they're coming in for 7. It's another one of those situations where I don't really want to play the Spindle, but I think Spindle's good enough that I should. So yeah, I will play a spindle. Just remembering the count, we're at 48, so we're up to 52 now. 10 cards away. So that actually is a possibility that I'm meant to just Kano and then play the gaze, which is probably the better decision. We're going to do that instead. I like this decision better because if the opponent does respond anyway, I will just use the gaze as AB anyway, so it's kind of foolproof. So yeah, we'll activate Kano here. So we're at 52, right? This will be 53. Gonna shoot him with the prog. We give him the second Illuvian counter, but I'm happy to trade that with my gaze. Looks like they took it, so good for us. Not too sure what they're intending. We see a tome on top with another blue. So we Kano'd. We went to 53. If we bottom this blue, it goes to 54. Probably going to pitch this gaze to the Crucible so we can draw 4. So we'll draw up to 58. So 58 if we want to keep the tome. I don't think that tomes are that important. The stack should just be able to kill. So I'm just going to bottom everything. And then I'm going to Kano again, leave myself open to some damage, but happy with that. So there's another tome. If I banish this, so we're at 52. 52 we Kano, went to 53, bottom 2, 55, this will be 56, then we'll draw up, and then our top cards should be Flare, Flare, Wildfire, Blazing, which honestly should just be enough to kill, so I'm pretty down to just get rid of this and then pass. So 52, we've seen the power of gaze. We're at 52 and our 2-card hand ramped us 3 extra cards. Kano, no, 2 Kanos and 2 ops to the bottom. So there's an extra 4 cards. So 56. And then here's all our other tomes. So pretty interesting. We were at 52. Then we Kano'd 53, played the gaze 55, Kano'd again 56. So top cards should be Flare Flare. With the top cards being Flare Flare, both being blue, I'm kind of confident to just send these. Pitch these into whatever and then we can try kill. So here I'm just going to take 3. Always just take this damage, so if we combo in response and then somehow they live, that's a way for them to utilize our wildfire against us. Just as a small min-max in case they live on 1 HP after the combo or something like that. Although it's probably not going to happen. Also, this may bait the opponent into, into pitching into Waning Moon to be able to shoot us afterwards. Which again, we'll just take that as well, don't really care. Because we are about to kill you, I believe. So pretty interesting. Got to open my combo by pitching into Storm Striders. I just want to get Tome into my pitch and then Deja Vu it. Is that how I want to do it? Maybe I'm just meant to Kano using these. I can even underpitch here. So I can underpitch the Kano, pitching the reds and the blue. I'll have 2 floating, flip them on top, pop an E-pot to Kano twice into both tomes. Then top card will be blue, blue, flare. Or yeah, blue, blue, flare. And then do I want to rags for this lessons? It's probably fine too. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. This way we get the maximum amount of use out of our potion. We get to essentially play both these tomes at instant speed because of it. So we'll do this. Top, top, top. banish one of them. Pop an E-pot. Banish another. Now I think I am down to rags and then tome in response. And then draw. One of these cards should be a blue flare, the first blue card that we pitched, which it is. Then rags will draw us into the other one. Then we can put the lessons either on top or on bottom. So actually an interesting choice. We better just do our math here. So we've got one floating, we'll have 9, so it's 10 plus 4, so we'll have 14. All that's needed is wildfire, which is 2, and then Kano into it, so it's 5. 6 for the Storm Striders, and then 9 for the Blazing that's under that. So we will be a little bit too tight on resources to be able to afford the lessons as well. So I'm considering bottoming it. We can also use this tome in our hand to go buff, which seems like the best choice. So yeah, I'm down to bottom this lesson. So yeah, just gonna Kano. Gonna Kano twice, play the tome to buff draw. That way we gain 3 resources off of that and get to buff the wildfire up to 7. So pretty much no amount of AB will save them. And then since it's +7 on their attack, on their next arcane, I don't think there's a damaging spell that hits for 7 in their deck. Their best is 5 and then 6 with Metacarpus, so the math kind of just lines up perfectly. So banish the wildfire. And then we'll banish that blazing. See our small decisions in the early game of not putting that random blue in the middle of our wildfire and blazing. It's like a make or break thing for this turn. That could have really hindered our turn if we didn't have the second tome with the Deja Vu pot. That's why you always just need to make sure you're playing as tight as possible. Looks like the opponent is thinking about something. Maybe just AFK. Just going to Kano here as well. Show them the blazing, then we've got the second blazing in our arsenal here. Yeah, the other big thing is lucky we have this blazing here. Could also be a little bit awkward if this was still the Oasis. And would be very awkward if it was the second blazing, or second wildfire, sorry, because everything that the opponent sends would be able to kill us with the double wildfire. So big reason I highly value the double blazing combos into them instead. So here there was a blue and then 2 red flares and then the lesson. So I'll draw 1, buff 1. So we go up to 6 resources in hand. Going to activate the Alluvian, which is pretty much just a tunic. That's why I still like running the Alluvian. Way too much value. Activate the Crucible. Metacarpus are on, yep. And so last check, we've got 6, 7 plus 4. We have 11 resources. These are already all banished. Yeah, like you don't even have to do math at this point, so just going to pitch everything. This will only cost 3 with this. Yeah, you can get all the resources you want. It's coming in for 7. Only got AB4, so another hedge with the Crucible in case they do bring AB5. And it looks like they are AB4, so they're going to give us another card. Wait, am I blind? Oh no, because the E-pot, yeah, I am actually blind, lol. So here, I'm just going to crack my E-pots now. If we have enough to Kano into the flare and then still play our cards, which I believe we do. Oh, we have well enough. Yeah, this game's just over. But yeah, wildfire hitting for 3 is as good as game anyway. So yeah, we'll Kano. We get to see a red flare. And then we get to Metacarpus this even. Shoot this. Get to buff it. So 7, this will buff the blazing that's following that. So now the blazing comes in. And make sure we metacarpets that. So this will be infinite. Yeah, so that's 15. And then 2 floating for Storm Shard as a meta on the second blazing. And that will be game. So key things I wanted people to take away from this is just how fast I want people to start stacking, and then how fast I want you to, or not just fast, but like how I want you guys to recognize and just to switch gears into getting to stack as fast as possible instead. So a lot of the people would have started overstacking. I remember my hand had the lessons in there, and they would have really like focused on making sure they stacked cards like that. Whereas instead I would look to Kano more often just to get to the stack faster. And as you can see on turn 10, that's like pretty fast. Usually the average is in between turn 10 to turn 12. If you do it fast enough, you can get there like turn 7, turn 8. As you can see, there were 4 tomes in the bottom 5 cards of my deck. So I actually got there rather slow, but since I min-maxed my ability to get there as fast as possible, I still got there like in a fast time frame of turn 10. So just getting there as fast as possible is like exactly what you want. Call me mellow, good game, brother or sister, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so hopefully this little talk through, playthrough helps just that little bit. And yeah, I might post some more of these if you guys are interested in that. But I'm outie.